It's a little weird to be yelling that when I'm sitting here by myself, but it's, I can pretend. So we got a little bit of rain last night, piling on, which is a very good thing. I missed you all last month because we were in the Oregon coast and they don't have any shortage of water up there. So we're jealous. And it was a little easier to wake up this morning, changing the time. So Good Morning Truckee is presented by the Truckee Chamber of Commerce. And I'm Jim Porter, as you may recall. Thanks for joining us. This is our annual ski resort presentation. I always think it's one of our very best, and it is one of our very best. We want to thank Rory, Tahoe Truckee Media, who's doing the filming here today. And he's already weighed in, so hopefully you can see us, for better or for worse. And if not, report to Lynn. Remember, these programs are rerun through the month on Channel 18, and the recordings are available for viewing on Truckee.com and Tahoe Truckee Media, TahoeTruckeeMedia.com. Okay? So, our sponsors, we want to thank them. Fast, quickly, briefly, succinctly: Tahoe Forest Health System, Porter Simon Dixon Realty, Truckee Tahoe, Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation, In the 5 Auerbach Engineering, JK Architecture Engineering, Tahoe Truckee Media, Sierra Sun, Moonshine Inc., 101.5 FM, Town of Truckee, the great town of Truckee, and the Truckee Tahoe Airport District, our favorite airport district. And our sponsors are people that coordinate, all the people who do all the hard work on these presentations, and there's a lot of work to be done. Actually, it's a lot of fun, and we'd like to have more people join us. The person that does most of the work, or at least gets most of the credit, is Lynn Saunders, and deservedly so, and her chamber staff, Ruth Garrissey, Melissa Williams, and Carolina Pacheco. Hi, you guys. See you over there to my right. Maybe not. And Kelly Cutler from CAT, Naomi Allegado, Moonshine Inc., Ernie Grossman. I can see his smiling face on my screen. Gerald Herrick, Fire Department. Tony Lashbrook, neighbor down the street. You might remember Tony. Deb Ryan, Community Foundation, and Mr. Ted Owens.
God, it was cold enough to snow.
And about town. Somebody's doesn't have their mood on. Okay, we've got a full program, so let's get going. And remember, if you have questions, ask, if you will, after everybody's done. Everybody's going to get 15 minutes. I think Lynn and Ted are the timekeepers. And you can text questions to 530-412-3719. That may be on your screen, or put your questions in the chat box if you're watching on Zoom. Okay, ready to go? So we have 3 speakers, 3 ski areas, and the first is Deidre Walsh. Deidre is the Vice President and General Manager of North Star, California. She's been at North Star for nearly 3 years and has been with Vail Resorts for over 5 years. Prior to that, she was with Park City Mountain Resort. Deidre has nearly 2 decades of travel and hospitality experience and oversees all year-round operations at North Star, one of 8 women running resorts across the Vail Resorts portfolio. She's a passionate advocate for women in the ski industry, and as a father of 2 daughters, I like that. And I can tell you she's one of the best managers North Star has ever had. So Deidre, take it away.
Not working.
Yeah. Are we on mute? Anybody else there? Lynn?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Deidre?
Here we go. All right. There we go. Here we go. I mean, what would be a Zoom meeting without a little bit of a glitch, right?
Yeah, you're just building suspense.
Thanks so much, Jim, for the introduction, and really excited to be here today to speak alongside my peers, Dee and Greg. Jim, appreciate you channeling the snow with your winter hat. I unfortunately hate that the 4-letter word at this time of year for us is rain. We need the precipitation, but certainly wish that it was coming down in the form of snow right now. I want to thank Lynn Saunders and the Chamber for hosting this event. It's been so important to continue to connect our community and our businesses in so many ways over the last 18 plus months and all that the chamber does for the community here. Jim, as you said, I've been here at North Star for just under 3 years, and I have just been so appreciative and so impressed by how I have been welcomed in this community. I have 2 kids. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they're at Glenshire Elementary. And just a huge shout out to all the teachers and the administrators who have brought the kids back into the school and the amazing efforts that they have in all aspects of our community, the hospital, the town of Truckee, the vibrancy and the resilience that everyone has demonstrated. Overall, I'm really proud to be a part of this community and reminded so many times, not only is this just an incredible landscape here, and my kids remind me all the time of how much they love being in California and they love this community, but it really is something special, and look forward to many more years here at North Star and in Truckee. With that, I think a lot about the community, and I want to share a bit about our company and the way that we think about what it means to be a leader in our communities and help support the most important work that our communities know are critical to the intrinsic essence of what it means to be in the mountains overall. One of the ways that we do that at Vail Resorts is through Epic Promise. And I wanted to start with this as I just reflected on this community and share this really incredible aspect of our business and a critical part of the values that we have for giving back in the communities that we all live and work in. We just released our Epic Promise report last week, and we've donated over $19.4 million to over 150 local organizations working across our mountain communities, focused on the critical needs like food and housing assistance, childcare, youth access programs, and forest health. Specifically to this region, of that 19.4 million, 1.8 million were in the South Lake Tahoe region and over 800,000 in the North Lake Tahoe region. And I have worked with many of the nonprofits and the community stakeholders on the other side that have received this funding, and the amount of respect that I have for all those that are working in these fields is deeply felt and deeply appreciated. I think this was really demonstrated through the recent fire season that we had in the region, specifically the Caldor fire, in the way that our company was able to help those that had critical needs, whether it was shelter, it was food, or other needs. We had over $400,000 in direct grants from the Epic Promise Foundation that supported our employees and others in the community that were displaced by the Caldor fire, and really was able to demonstrate how Epic Promise can really impact our communities in so many ways, and in ways that are unexpected, and yet are there as a safety net to help our employees overall. As I think about our employees and our communities and our guests holistically, I'm so proud to reflect on our company's point of view on our Epic for Everyone.
There's this
So our Epic Pass program has been in existence since 2008, and it has continued to evolve and really change over over a decade to think about what are the needs of our business. And I think we're not shy about our strategy at Vail Resorts, that our intent and our passion is to create a legacy for our industry and ensuring lifelong skiers and riders. That we want to have more guests on our pass product versus lift tickets, because we think that's a better way for stability for our company and for our industry overall. And it's the best deal for our skiers and riders when they purchase a pass, and it gives them access to the breadth of resorts within the Vail portfolio. And just as we have in other ways to innovate in the industry, in the spring of 2021, we announced that we reduced all season passes by 20%. All of our season passes by 20%, so that we could be more inclusive and more welcoming to more people to come into this industry. And we just announced in our last earnings call, which was in September, that we increased our season pass sales by 42% to the 2020 and 2021 season, and 67% in units to the 2019 and the 2020 season. I think this is an incredible success, and it speaks so much to being able to, again, welcome new people into the sport overall, to increase accessibility, to increase engagement in our sport for many, many more, and to be inclusive to all those that want to join us. I think what's also interesting about those increases in units overall is that that growth isn't just from newcomers. We want new people to come into the industry, but it is also converting those guests who have typically been on lift tickets into that pass product. And that pass product can be anywhere from 1 day to 7 days to a full season. There is a variety of options for our guests. So looking forward to seeing what this feels like and what this looks like at our resorts overall. I think that with those numbers, there's probably a little bit of trepidation as like, what is that going to feel like? And, I think we're going to be unapologetic about the popularity that comes with the Epic Pass overall. And so as a company, in addition to announcing the 20% reduction and the impact that we're seeing on more people buying passes from us, we also announced a massive capital improvement across our resorts. So over $300 million in upgrades to our lifts. And that is completely and really focused on the number of guests coming to our resorts and wanting to make sure that we can be as efficient as we can at our key and most popular lifts and get more people more quickly skiing on the terrain that they love. Specifically at North Star, that means that next season you will see an upgraded Comstock lift, a new 6-pack there at one of our most popular lifts here at the resort. And looking forward to that and knowing that it'll have that impact for those that come to North Star to get up onto the hill faster, to get more runs into the day, and to really grow and learn and explore with us here. I want to share a little bit about COVID and what to expect this season at North Star and across our company. Obviously, we all know that we're still in the midst of this pandemic. We're not out of the woods yet, but we are emerging out of this crisis. And with that, we have different protocols to expect this season at the resort. I'll start by sharing our vaccination requirements for our employees. We believe that the vaccination is the best way to fight the pandemic. With that, we are requiring all of our employees to have the COVID-19 vaccination by November 15th. So just a few days from now. We think this is the best thing for their own safety, for the safety of each other, and for the protection of our guests and our communities as a whole. I'll share today with you that at North Star, we certainly have seen the impacts to that, but by and large, most employees are vaccinated or are opting into that option of vaccination to continue their employment with us here. And we understand that this is a choice, and that employees that make that choice not get a vaccination are respected and understood. For guests this season, many, many changes compared to last season. First, there is no reservation system this year at any of our mountains. So all guests can come and will have access to the mountain. In addition, all of our lifts and all of our gondolas will be loaded at normal capacity with mixed groups. Face coverings will be required at all of our indoor settings. So that's all of our restaurants and lodging and restrooms and our retail and rental locations and on our transportation on all of our buses. Face coverings are not going to be required outside. So not on our lift lines, not on chairlifts, not in the gondolas overall. The one thing that I would say that is unique to Vail Resorts and across all of our resorts is we are requiring a proof of COVID-19 vaccination for all those that are 12 years and older and all of our indoor, on mountain, quick service or otherwise cafeteria style restaurants. And I've been asked several times, why is that? Why is that the one place that we're requesting the vaccination verification to be shown from our guests? And I think as we looked at where are we unique as a ski company where local or federal or state guidance wouldn't maybe totally apply to us. So we know that there's guidance in even a sit down restaurant or with transportation and guidance for retail shops. But our quick service restaurants are unique. They service many, many people at the same time. They are shared tables, so communal tables overall, and often have a long time of duration without a covering on. So we felt like this was the right place for us to determine that a vaccination verification would be critical to the safety of our guests and our employees overall. So we will continue to comply with, obviously, any changes with federal, state, and local public health guidelines. And we think that this is the right path for us at Vail Resorts and here at North Star. I want to wrap up by just talking a little bit about this winter specifically here at North Star. So we are excited and we're focused on opening for the winter. Right now, our opening date remains November 19th, weather permitting. So we're hoping that we get some nice cold temps to come through and over the next 10 days from now so that we can open up on that opening day. The most important thing for us at North Star, not just beyond COVID safety, is safety first and foremost for our guests and our employees. And so with that, we are planning to bring back so many parts of our winter operations that we didn't operate last season. Last season was a season where we focused on the core of our business of skiing and riding. And I think our employees and our guests are excited to really see the ancillary parts of our business coming back. So examples like, all of our ski and ride school products, bringing back our traditions of s'mores and of toast, having our ice rink going 7 days a week, bringing back tubing on the hill, and all those parts of why people come to North Star, both for the skiing and riding, but for the holistic experience that you have here. Our teams are really focused on what that looks like for us to get to opening day and to bring parts of those businesses back. Now, I will say, I think that we've recognized that in order to do that, we cannot get stuck in thinking about bringing back way things they used to be. That there is not going back to normal. It's not just going back on the hill and turning all the switches and just bringing back everything the way that it was, but really for myself and for my team here, thinking about all this through a lens of reimagine. That instead of thinking about returning to the way that it was, although there are parts of that I think we all wish and hope desired could come back that way, too much has changed. So we have to be really creative more than ever, not just in the change, I think, of what it means to work in a guest service and a guest facing business, but also, what does it mean when there is so many staffing challenges and housing challenges? What does it mean when you bring technology more into the business day in and day out? So I think this is a great opportunity for all of us. And I think at the end of the day, not just at North Star, not just at Vail Resorts, but for the industry as a whole, we're going to come out on the other side of COVID. And I think we're going to be better in many ways because of it. Because of this sense of reimagining overall. Our teams are working so hard. And I know that Dee and Greg would agree with, last year was a tough season. And our teams care so much about what they do. They do it so that they can not only work together with each other here at our resorts, but they get really excited to create these incredible moments for our guests on our hills. To really think about this place that has meant so much over the pandemic for so many people, a place where people can find respite and relax, be with each other, or maybe be on their own, whatever it is, this thing that we get to do to bring people into the sport and do it safely has been really incredible. And our teams can be tired at times because it has been so hard. They have been incredibly flexible. They have been incredibly nimble over the last 18 months. And they are going to continue to do that this winter season. And so with that, I would just remind everyone to be kind going into to this winter, to everybody, to remember that it is hard what we do at times, and it is also incredibly fun what we do. And we look forward to having a great winter season with all of our employees and all of our guests here in this region. Thank you.
Thanks you, Deidre. And be kind strikes a tone with me. I mean, we should all be wearing that on our shoulder all day long in these hard times. And I, for one, really appreciate the steps you all are taking to address COVID. And I know all of us appreciate the community involvement of Dale and you in particular. So thank you very much for all that work. It isn't easy. All right. Next, Dee Byrne, Palisades, Tahoe. She's gearing up, not slowing down at all. Dee was named president and CEO of Palisades, Tahoe by Alterra Mountain Company in August, this last August. Dee has worked in the ski industry for over 30 years and has held numerous positions around prominent mountains and brands. Dee serves on multiple boards as an advisor to PSIA and ASSI. Now, being a numbskull, I had to look that up. It's Professional Ski Instructors of America and American Association of Snowboard Instructors. Duh. And Dee received PSIA's and ASSI's National Distinguished Service Award in 2020, an award that recognizes those who've made important contributions to the success of the association. So please welcome Dee Byrne.
Good morning, everybody. Jim, thank you for that introduction. I cut my teeth teaching skiing. Started at age 14 up in Washington State in a small area north of Spokane. And I've been involved in skiing ever since. And it's a privilege. Hey, folks, it's great to be here. Deidre, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm new to the group, but I'm not new to the community. I've been here 10 years now. So I really respect what Deidre, how you framed our working together and the good work and the good deeds that are getting done here. So I look forward to participating a little more actively in a leadership role in that regard. Similar to how Deidre framed the state, I guess, that we're all in. Over here, we very much agree that while we're moving out of the pandemic, it's not behind us yet. And certainly safety of our employees, our guests, our community is first and foremost top of mind. We are taking a little bit of a different approach on COVID. So, excuse me, who's running the slideshow now, Lynn? Go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. So similarly, we are requiring vaccination for all of our employees and volunteers, but we will not be checking for vaccination status on our guests. We are, again, taking a little bit different approach where we see that we've been successful, essentially, in our indoor facilities. We were very successful last year. We had no breakouts that we're aware of on our campus. And so we're going to continue to ask our guests to recommend that they mask up, and especially if they're unvaccinated, that they mask for sure. And that aligns with Placer County's requirements. So we're in Placer over here, and we'll continue to align with Placer, with the state, with the Fed, et cetera, and with our Forest Service. And Forest Service, we're on Forest Service property over at Alpine Meadows, and they are defaulting currently to Placer's requirements. Also similar to North Star, Deidre, we are returning to, as much as possible, to normal outdoor operations. In our indoor facilities, we will still be distancing. We're still kind of futzing with the capacity in each of our public spaces. So, it's interesting. As much as we are competitors, Greg and Deidre and I, we're also, I think, partners. And so we share so much of the same philosophies. And listening, Deidre, to you speak, I was thinking, yeah, we agree. Yep, that's we believe that too. I talk a lot about enriching lives through the experience of snow sports, because I really think that snow sports are transformative for folks. We're working diligently on creating more access, both at Alterra Mountain Company and here specifically at Palisades, Tahoe. So it's fun. It's fun to think about working in a healthy, competitive environment, but striving for ultimately the same goals. But let's go ahead and go to the next slide, please. I think probably everybody's aware. We're a new name. We're a new company, and we have a new name. I'm not going to go into the details of background on that. If anybody would like to ask questions on that, please do. Just in terms of where we're at, I would say that most people have moved from, or a lot of our guests that were anger have moved to acceptance, and we're getting a lot less criticism and a lot more adoption, and it's starting to roll off the tongues of our community. So we're really pleased. I think that this move, this change indicates who we are as a company. We're kind people, and SQUAB is a bad name. That doesn't represent who we are. So specifically what's going on now, we're working with the county leadership to get the rest of the county assets, the roads, the park, the field and whatnot renamed. And we're supporting the tribe with their petition to rename the federal assets, our Squaw Peak, Squaw Creek, and Squaw Valley. And we have renamed a couple of our chairs. Our Squaw 1 chair we renamed to Washishu, which means Washoe people. And we're working with the resort at Squaw Creek, who are also going through a rebranding exercise. Once they determine their new name, we will likely upgrade the chair name again, but in the interim time, we've named it Resort Chair. So again, proud that the new name is starting to resonate in the community. It feels really good, and we're seeing good adoption. Next to some nuts and bolts. Specifically, what you're going to see or what you're going to feel different from last year. We have installed a beautiful 150-foot magic carpet for beginner instruction up in our high camp complex. It's really going to be additive to the beginner experience. We're excited about that. We've got a new eatery in our village called Sunhole, and it's really based on healthy eats, poke and acai bowl and smoothies, so on and so forth. The biggie, our base-to-base gondola, is as hard as we worked, as much overtime as we drove, et cetera, we couldn't get that project done in one summer. So we're on hold. It's buttoned up. It's winterized for now, and we'll be operational in the following season, but just didn't quite get there, folks. We had issues with supply chain, concrete, getting helicopters. It was great. The helicopters we had here were also fighting fires, and we said, hey, fight the fires. You know, that takes precedent. So we're excited to bring that beautiful, incredibly technologically advanced gondola online next year. It's going to really change the skier experience between the ridges, and I think it's really going to position us well, more so as a destination, if you will, out here in Northern California. Specific to programs and sustainability, we've been working with the county on our microtransit program, our Mountaineer. It's coming back this year. We're expanding the hours, and we're very, very excited to connect it to TART Connect so that our guests can go back and forth between Tahoe City and Olympic Valley on Fridays and Saturdays. Also, we've been working the last couple of years, I understand, and we're finally going to pilot this use of renewable diesel fuel to power a lot of our lower mountain fleet, both cat and rubber tire, as well as all of the generators that back up our facilities. Pretty neat. This fuel is made out of, don't ask me the technical details, I won't know those answers, but it's essentially, it's a product made from waste. So it's really neat. In terms of technology, we're expanding our mobile ordering for food and beverage across more facilities. And I forgot to mention also that our app, we continue to evolve our app. We're very pleased with our app, and this year it's got more of a social connection. And it's got a lot of fun features similar to Epic's app. So if you haven't ever utilized it, I'd encourage you to download it. It's fun. Ski School, we're expanding some of our programs. And so we'll have this adventure camp, and we're excited about this Take 4 that's a really killer price point, another entry gate for folks who typically, quite frankly, think that ski school is too expensive. We've also got a Learn to Ski and Ride product that we're excited to bring back from the past, our Perfect Progression program. It's a phenomenal beginner experience at a low price point. Deidre, just like Vail Resorts, passes have really sold through well, so have Icon. We're double the sales from 18-19 in our market. So we too embrace the idea of more is better. And we're not going to be shy to say that, yeah, we're going to be busy on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. So we're doing other things to encourage midweek visitation, inclusive of this Icon Thursdays program, which essentially will be activating various products and services at low price points or with promotions on Thursdays. Greg, you and I haven't talked about Darren. And so Darren is joining our athlete team. You know, we have a big program utilizing our athletes as representatives. We're proud of that. And I didn't exactly know how this happened, but Darren is jumping over to join Palisades Tahoe, where he actually cut his teeth. He grew up skiing at Alpine Meadows and Palisades Tahoe. He has been, I think, excellent representative for all of Tahoe and specifically Sugar Bowl the past 20 or so years. We're excited for him to come over here, and he's also going to have his children on our ski team. We're excited for them to join us. And on the event stage, we're basically bringing back all of our events that you've seen in the past, our weekend events, and new this year, we're really excited to host the U.S. Freestyle Championships in March. That's kind of the nuts and bolts of what's going on over here. I'll just share too, we had a phenomenal, really fun time opening Halloween weekend. And of course, I'm really disappointed to not have been able to follow that through. We were hoping to be able to go weekends consistently or consecutively until our previously established opening date of the 24th. But it just didn't happen. Got too warm, as we all know. It's raining, mixed rain and snow out here right now. But with the forecast this week, I don't think we're going to get there for this weekend either, unfortunately. So, but if Halloween weekend should have demonstrated or signaled to you that we are interested in skiing and riding as much as we can, when we can, that'll be our operating style that will continue. So thank you very much for having me on today. And if there's anything I can do for you folks, please don't hesitate to reach out directly. My cell phone is 970-331-1193. Excited to meet a lot of you folks.
Right, Dee, thank you very much. And I can say that I was a big fan of Ron Cohen. He's a tough act to follow, just a grounded guy, and you are all of that and then some. And I've heard this, I've seen it myself, and we appreciate and glad you're at the helm.
Thank you, Jim.
Hi. You're welcome.
And we miss Ron, but he's happy that he got to go home to Mammoth, and he's doing a great job down there.
Yeah, right. You're brave to give out your phone number. I'd get crank calls all night long, I think, with my personality. Okay, so our last speaker is Greg Dallas, Sugar Bowl, Royal Gorge Cross Country. Great guy. Greg has been president and CEO of Sugar Bowl Resort, Royal Gorge Cross Country for over 5 years. Prior to that, he was part of the leadership team at Mammoth Mountain Ski Area for 15 years. He has a wealth of ski industry knowledge, and I can just assure you that is so true, and leads all aspects of resort operations at Sugar Bowl. He's been a strong advocate and leader on Donner Summit, taking an active interest in the long-term sustainability, balancing conservation with recreation for future generations. Alex, take it away.
Jim, thank you very much. Dee, Darren's a great guy, and we felt like we didn't want to keep him to ourselves, so thought we'd share him with you and the rest of the community. Let's see. Good morning. A lot of familiar faces and names, so thanks for joining. I just want to really quickly start by saying last year was unbelievably challenging, but our industry came together and worked with California at the top levels to be open for skiing. And that would not have happened without the partnership of our Tahoe resorts. I can't say enough about that. We led the charge in Sacramento, and a huge thanks to Dee and Deidre down the block, incredible industry partners. It makes a huge difference in one of the most challenging years, probably one of the most challenging in the history of skiing. So I want this community to know what a strong leadership team we have around Tahoe and what an impact they make in Sacramento for California skiing. You know, I don't get a forum like this very often, so I want to share my thanks to a few people because there's been so much local effort and so many good things happening in the community. Number one, to Supervisor Bullock and his efforts on the CCC to bring an active dialogue on how to balance the needs during peak period visitation. I want to commend Colleen Dalton and her efforts on sustainable Truckee and outdoor recreation collaborative, moving our, I think, community in the right direction on sustainability. Stacy Caldwell and her many efforts on forest health and housing, which is a huge impediment these days to recruiting, year-round and seasonal workforce. So just incredible efforts. And then, Chief Saline and Paco, on Measure T on the fire issue. And I highlight those folks because I want to talk a little bit about what Sugar Bowl's doing in a few of those areas. We've spent significant time, energy, and capital sort of address these important issues. So I'll give you an update on a couple of them and then hit on a couple of kind of our operating plan for this summer. So first, about forest health and fire. Obviously, we've been very close to the impacts of the Calder fire, not only with, Deidre and Heavenly and North Star, but really Sierra Tahoe, and devastating impact to that ski resort. And we've been very close to John Rice and what's been going on down there. He had a hotshot crew on site to help fight that fire. We had the opportunity to bring that hotshot crew here to Sugar Bowl and talk about best practices. We've talked extensively to CAL FIRE and local agencies to really understand the terrain and strategize on what those efforts would look like, here on Donner Summit, in particular the west of Truckee. And we've gone and looked at Tahoe Donner and Martis Camp and the Cedars and on the backside of Sugar Bowl, all the efforts that are happening. And clearly we have the same risk, the same forest that the I-50 corridor has. And so as we get into winter, we start thinking about turns and snow. But I'll tell you, this is top of mind for us, and we're not going to lose energy on this. We have a lot of granite around the crest and the summit, but our forest to the west is of great concern. So we will continue a pretty large effort. It's a 60-acre forest health project west of Sugar Bowl to reduce ladder fuels, thinning, limbing, and working with all the folks sort of to the west of us to continue those efforts to make sure that we have good fire breaks and that we have as healthy of a forest as we possibly can to sort of try to protect our western flank coming into the Truckee area. So that's top of mind and will continue to be top of mind through the winter. And we'll really want to jump on that in the springtime leading up to next summer. The second piece project that I want to talk about is really this issue of overuse and peak period visitation. And this is the CCC group, and it's been, I think a great collaborative effort. But Donner Summit in particular is a very visited area, but incredibly under-infrastructured and well behind everywhere else around the lake when it comes to trailheads, parking, bathrooms, community facilities. We just don't have it up here yet. It's very, very used. And so Sugar Bowl has spent a significant amount of time with the help of Placer County Capital Advisory Committee, the Donner Summit Association, the Forest Service, Circle, and many others, developing a very comprehensive recreation master plan for Van Norton and the surrounding area. And it's really to balance recreation with conservation and restoration. I think it's been a great effort, and there's a great product, and there's a list of projects that'll come out of that. But again, as Jim said, the goal is to have an engaged discussion on how we balance recreation and restoration. A wetter meadow is critical for the habitat, but we've also been able to reroute and add summer trails and really plan for additional infrastructure to accommodate existing and future use so we don't have overuse. And I think the other thing I want to recognize and mention is that how important this meadow is to the Washoe. It has been their home, their sacred home for thousands of years. So it really is our duty in all these efforts to protect the area. It really is a sacred area for them. And that's sort of a lot of the summer planning we've been doing. Regarding winter, many of us know that snow play has really been a challenge along all the highways, 40, 80, 50. It's been really challenging. Overuse and trash and a number of issues. So another exciting project that we've been planning for a couple of years now and have just gotten approvals from the Forest Service and Placer County is for a new snow play area. So $2 million, north of $2 million, 15 lanes, 800 feet long, 400-foot carpet with snowmaking. So we'll be building a winter-summer adventure park connected to Sugar Bowl right off of Sugar Bowl Road. So appreciate everybody's support on that. We're really excited about that. And it'll continue to address the snow play issues on Old 40 and 80, continue to create kind of a snow play hub, but again, manage the use. Tell people where to park, where to poop, where to play. And we need to continue to manage that summer and winter up here on the summer. So really excited we started to break ground this fall, but really most of the project will be finished next summer. And so that's a couple exciting projects that we've been involved with up here at Sugar Bowl. And then let me transition and finish with just some winter operations notables. Maybe unlike the other resorts around Tahoe, we are very committed to limiting pass sales. And so again, we will most likely sell out. We have a few left. But we really want to preserve the experience. And so that we learned, we've always been doing it, but we really were forced to learn a lot last year, really get good at capacity management. And we will continue to do that and sell out and make sure we preserve the experience. This year, we will also again be advanced sales only for the purchase of tickets, rentals, and lessons. We found that guests that pre-planned arrived happy, rested, and knowledgeable about their experience, and it drove customer satisfaction through the roof. And so we've had very little pushback on that. We'll do that again. But again, that's really with the spirit of managing daily capacity. We don't like lines. We don't like waiting in line at Sugar Bowl. We like uncrowded slopes. It's good for safety. And so the uncrowded resort experience, we learned a lot last year and we liked a lot about it. And we're going to try to continue some of those critical operational plans that we had last year into next year. So it's really excited about continuing to move forward with that. As far as COVID, our employees like North Star and the Vail Resorts will be required to be vaccinated as of November 15th. Obviously in California, we all have to follow certain Cal OSHA and other rules. So of course and I think there was a comment in the chat too, but I'll mention, but I won't speak for Deidre, but I'm sure that Vail, like us, will accommodate medical and religious requests for accommodation, and we have a process for that, and it's well laid out. But I will tell you, 99.5% of our workforce has been vaccinated, and we've heard very little about it, actually. On the guest side, we are not going to require any proof of vaccination. Like Dee, we're in Placer, and we will encourage face coverings indoors. And outdoors, we will have no restrictions at all. We will go back to normal, no ghost lanes, no, two on a chair. Everything will go back to our normal loading procedures and processes. So it'll feel a lot like a normal ski area in a normal winter. And then I'll just close with opening day for us is Friday, November 26th, and with a little bit of cooler temps. Love the moisture. We'll take the rain. It'll turn to snow eventually. We're super optimistic and look forward to seeing all of you up here at Sugar Bowl. Thank you very much for the opportunity this morning to bend your ear a little bit.
Greg, thank you. And thanks to all of you for your commitments to address overuse. I mean, this is a problem that is major, as we all know, and it's unfortunately not going to go away at the end of the season or the beginning of the season or when everybody goes back to work or goes back to school. It's just, it is what it is, and you're all addressing it, and I appreciate that. And thanks, Greg, for Sugar Bowl's commitment to the community. So now everybody out there gets to ask questions, and I think I turned this over to Ted and Lynn. Is that correct, Lynn?
Start with Lynn.
Yes. I have a couple that have come in.
Right.
Deidre, this came in when you were speaking about the lift upgrades. Will some of this employ locals?
Thanks, Lynn. So will the lift upgrade employ locals? Was that the question? For the lift upgrade, the actual lift itself will obviously have the same number of employees working the winter season. I'm going to guess that has a question around the actual building of the lift itself. So yes, we work with local engineering firms, local experts in the field here. Certainly leverage parts of our operations through experience in some Colorado business, but absolutely we'll see an impact to locals being a part of that project when it comes to the build.
Great, thank you. I have one more. How does switching to a pass-based system as opposed to affordable single-day tickets increase access to the sport? What can be done with the cost of day passes, which are cost prohibitive to many?
Yeah, I think we think about our pass product around the longevity of a guest. So we know that someone that comes to any resort one time may not be somebody that comes back time and time again and grows into the sport. So our really philosophy is that newcomers to the sport, when they have more days skiing and riding, they become lifelong enthusiasts for the sport overall. And that's really the strategy that we're driving towards. And part of our passes, there is a one-day Epic Pass that is a cheaper pass than if you come to buy a pass the day of. So I think we've addressed that from both a season-long pass as well as a one-day pass is available through Epic.
Can I just add quickly to that? What we see also is with the pass holders, they're educated guests. They learn how to navigate not just the resort, but the community. They tend to be more respectful. They're just, in a sense, better citizens up here because they participate on a more routine basis. And so we like that. Now, do we like to invite others in? And then we try to certainly win their loyalty, of course. So we're trying to offer day ticket iterations and pack or frequency products for those folks. But I think that there is a balance there, and I really respect what Greg's doing, your strategy around visitation. Again, that's not our strategy. We recognize the lifetime value in our pass holders, like Deidre talked about. So we'll continue to promote that. And I think it's achievable. I think it's achievable to provide an awesome experience on a larger scale.
That's all I have. Ted, did you have some that came through?
I do have a couple, and several of them were answered by the presentation, so I won't go there. Deidre, one that came in for you. Specifically, how will you manage the number of people on the mountain per day, and do you have the parking?
Yeah, we will not have a reservation system. So pass holders will be able to come to the resort on any day that they choose overall. And I would say for parking for us, certainly encourage for our guests at any time to carpool, to make that decision for themselves on how to eliminate cars off the road. What we have found is even on our the number of days that we operate, we do not run out of parking very often at North Star. We didn't run out of parking at all last year, so we were able to accommodate on-site everyday parking. And if we should need to, at the very limited peak days, we do have a alternative bus that we run from the airport as needed. And we'll look to see how the season is tracking if we need to do that overall. But by and large, most days, we can accommodate all guests parking on site at North Star.
Okay, and then the second question for you has to do with COVID and your mask requirements on the mountain. Will this be on the honor system? How will you enforce?
To the vaccination?
No, to the mask requirement.
Oh. Yeah, we will be helpful in reminding, our guests as they enter, into our spaces. We all got very good last year at asking people to please put on their mask and cover their nose, overall. So we will have employees and all of our team members, you'll see everybody vocal and visible, around that. I do think that after these last 18 months that there is a bit of also each other and keeping each other honest in those expectations, guest to guest. So I don't expect it to be honestly a huge issue, Ted, for indoor spaces to wear a mask.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have a question for Dee. I'm going to ask it because it came in. Okay, put your seatbelt on. What were some of the other names considered before settling on Palisades Tahoe? I am not at acceptance. It's not my question.
It's a great question, and I'm not at liberty to share.
Okay, I figured.
I'm going to instruct my client not to answer that question, Mr. Ted.
Thank you, Counselor. And let's see, how will you monitor COVID impacts at the resort as you move through the season? I think this came because you have a little different requirements than Deidre covered. But how will you be monitoring the situation in real time?
Well, specifically with our employees, we have a well-grouped, well-greased system that we established last year. And so we provide 80 additional hours of sick pay on top of their regular sick pay. And we've really developed a culture over here where if they have a sniffle, they're calling us up and they're not coming in. And then we encourage the testing, and then we do the tracing and whatnot, and support the quarantining. And again, we didn't have any mass breakouts last year, so we feel very confident in that. If an employee does test positive and there was some degree of exposure to our guests, then we will follow up with those guests. That's easy to do in programs, ski school and ski team and whatnot. That's a little more difficult in an F&B environment. Again, fortunately, we were able to mitigate that and didn't have to deal with it. So that's what we're going to continue to do, is be very, very diligent through our employee group and connections.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I have a question for Greg, but two comments did come in to me on, congratulations, great work on forest health management. So just wanted to acknowledge that came in. This is with respect to the snow play area and your attempts to create, try to relieve some of the pressure up on the summit. Will it be cost effective to the clients? Because that is why people make up free areas, number one. And number two, how will you market? And then back to Jim after this.
Yeah, good question. Just on the marketing front, I think we'll just, nothing too special about it. We'll push that through most of our normal channels, but it's not going to be a significant outward marketing effort. And the reason is there are plenty of folks already up in the 80 and the 40 corridor. And the goal, because, this entire CCC discussion is to make it affordable, make sure that we have a price point that's affordable, and to take them off the road and to get them into our facility to manage all those guests. We're not going to be able to get all of them. There are clearly folks that want free. But if we can make it much more affordable, and tubing is so much more affordable than skiing, we have a great operation at Soda Springs already with Powder Corp. We see Boreal has an operation. We're in close contact with them. And so we know that we can capture those folks and bring them in, and we just need parking. We need to pull them off the road. We're also doing a much better job with Nevada County to make sure that on Old 40 in particular, we have much, much better signage on where you can and can't park. And we did a trial last year where we put up some temporary signs, and it was amazing. You know, people didn't park where we actually had signage up telling them not to park. So we can do a better job making sure we understand where the pinch points are, where the unsafe parking areas are, putting up signage, and then really corralling those folks and bringing them into an affordable snow play. And, you know, selfishly, we want to take that group of people and we want to cross-sell them and get them into the sport of skiing. So again, you see this, and they do a wonderful job down at Soda Springs where they introduce them into snow play, they cross-sell them and get them into some sliding, whether it's a snowboard or a bike, a snow bike or skis. And then we're trying to convert them into be lifelong skiers. So we think it's a great program and really a worthwhile investment.
Thank you, Greg. Pray for snow. Jim, you're muted. Somewhere.
Jim,
Am I still?
Jim, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. You took my line away. It's but indeed. And to Dee and Deidre and Greg, we are so lucky to have you as leaders in our community. I thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitments to our community. And we'll see you next year, if not before. Okay. Now, the final part of the program, Lynn, I'm looking at you, and that is any announcements, stump speeches. Looks like you have 4, did you say? Okay.
Yes. I will start by kicking it off to our mayor, Anna Klovstad.
Hello, everyone. In case you haven't heard, we're doing a general plan update and considering some land use alternatives. So I just wanted to let you know about that happening on Monday, the 15th. It's a special meeting for the Truckee Town Council. And then also this Saturday, Councilmember Zabriskie and I will be at the Lift Coffee House, and we would love to hear your thoughts. That's, 8:30,
Yeah,
Saturday morning.
Okay, 8:30 where? At the Lift
At
Coffee
the
House?
Lift Coffee House.
And that's this coming Monday, did you say?
This coming Saturday is
Saturday.
the Lift Coffee House. Thanks for clarifying, Jim. Monday at 5 o'clock is the council meeting. Saturday, 8:30 in the morning, Lift Coffee House. That's the one on Palisades and Old Brockway.
Yeah, sorry to confuse everybody. Okay.
Right. The Lift House Coffee House is across from the regional park. I'm now going to turn it to Caroline Craffey from TTCF. She has a quick announcement.
Thank you, Lynn. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to share that TTCF is hosting a Forest Future Salon. It'll be tomorrow at 4 p.m. with CAL FIRE Chief Brian Estes and the head of the Tahoe National Forest, Ellie Alano. We will be discussing the 2021 fire season and what the winter means for recovery and restoration. So you can register at ttcf.net, and I will drop that link in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Caroline. Next, we have Karen Wilkins from the North Lake Tahoe Truckee Leadership Program.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to join Jim's Hat Club. So here we go. My name is Karen Wilkins with the North Lake Tahoe Truckee Leadership Program, and I wanted to announce that we are accepting applications for our 2022 program. This program is a partnership between the Truckee Chamber, the North Lake Tahoe Resort Association, and the North Tahoe Business Association. And it's an opportunity for emerging leaders or people who are new to the community to learn more about the community and get more tools in your toolbox. So I recommend that everyone apply for the program. The application deadline is December 10th at 5 p.m. And you can go to TahoeTruckeeLeadership.com to get the application, or email me at Karen@TahoeTruckeeLeadership.com for more information. Thank you.
Love the hat,
Thank you,
Karen.
Karen. Thanks, Karen. The Truckee Chamber, as being one of the founding partners of that program way back in 2004, we're very proud of it. And it's a great program, so I do recommend anybody that's interested go through it. Finally, I have a shameless plug at the end here. If Kathy Hess Slocum were here, she would do it herself. But hopefully you've seen our new quarterly magazine, Truckee.com, an Insider's Guide. It's published by the Chamber in partnership with Just Imagine Marketing and Design. Ad sales for the next issue close the end of this month, and that is for the winter issue, which will come out mid-January. So if you want to know more about that, email me at Lynn, Lynn, @Truckee.com, and I will hook you up with Kathy. Thank you.
Great. That's it. Well, I think that's it, everybody. And we'll see you. Normally, I would say next month, December, but we're going to take a pass on December and celebrate the snow. And we'll see you next year. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you.